Hello, I'm Blue, and welcome
Hey.
to REL10F, the recap. Look, okay, you know what? I'm sick. Don't expect me to be coherent. We've set the tone for the whole thing. Also, I have NPA here with me.
Hello. I am significantly less sick, so
Yep,
I will attempt to be coherent for the both of us.
yep, I think that pretty much sums it up. Okay, so let's look at these teams. Or not even. We're looking at games, okay? For the first one, is humans versus Slab. The humans won.
Yeah, this one was a bit of a one-sided affair. I do believe we ended up with a soft concede towards the back half of the game. I have not had a chance to take a look at the replay yet, but that is what it was explained to me and would make sense given the low number of armor breaks and generally low number of blocks on the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Only no. Hmm. Where's the number I want? Was it a legal concede?
Like I said, don't know the details. I have to watch the replay. It's on my to-do list for the evening.
Yeah. The Slan only took 4 removals in this game. So I don't think that could be a legal concede.
Yeah, my guess is it was a soft concede, and we do allow for some level of soft conceding in certain circumstances. Again, something I need to look into, but
Um,
that's pretty much the tale on this game.
the rule for that is actually very black and white. If you cannot field a line of scrimmage on kickoff, then you can concede.
Yes,
But
that's the rule on a hard concede. Soft concedes go a little bit differently.
oh,
Soft
I
concede.
see what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, the admin staff considers a soft concede allowable in situations where your team's being removed, you're down to too few players to make a significant attempt at the
Mm-hmm.
game, and you just want to protect and finish the
Mm-hmm.
game out.
Mm-hmm.
So protecting your players as opposed to trying a bunch of cage dives
Mm-hmm.
with your last remaining pieces. There are circumstances in which it's a gray area, but we understand where your priorities might shift. This game did complete legally, meaning there wasn't an
Okay.
actual concede, someone hitting the button. So, like I said, I'll have to
Mm-hmm.
review,
Okay.
but yes, if you are curious, the cyanide actually allows for in-game concedes on any kickoff where you have fewer
Mm-hmm.
than 3 players on the pitch or in the reserves. So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot field a normal line of scrimmage. You can actually go into the game and hit concede. It will end the game there. You will still get your MVP and your winnings and such, and that is what is considered a legal concede
Mm-hmm.
by the rules of Cyanide and Rebel. So
It,
just in case anybody's confused there.
and also, hence the use of the terms soft. Again, I'm sick. Words don't make sense. I'm just things are coming out of my mouth, and sometimes they're coherent, and often they are not. Also, I literally never soft concede. I will always try and do the 6+ dive. Anyway,
I mean, I play Rats, so I have an inherent lack of care for the life of any of my players out of necessity, if nothing else. So, in fact, if you saw my post from my recent Clan League game, I did a similar thing
mm-hmm.
with Brett's and pulled off some serious shenanigans.
Yeah, like I'm.
But on to our next game, I think.
Yep.
Primal Concrete Sledge versus the Thunderous Puffins.
And the Elves win 3-0. This was a blowout. Uh, wait. Wait, seriously? The Elves out removed the Chaos. Oh, this really was a blowout. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos got their punches in, 43, only 29 blocks, so that's the weird thing to me. there must have been some early removals in this game against Chaos. 43 blocks for the High Elves against 29 of the Chaos, especially considering the Chaos isn't that bad off in terms of the amount of block they have. You would pretty evenly expect that number to go the other route because the Chaos has all that strength 4 and the High Elves are all strength 3 across the board, right? So
But
something must have happened early, I think.
But for instance, if the 2 Chaos Warriors got removed early, then that could tilt the game massively in the favor of the Elves.
Yeah, and we definitely know that the MVP Warrior took an injury this game. So just to miss next game, but so he did lose one there.
You know, I can probably just look at that. If a warrior and a beastman with casualties, there were also 3 KOs and an expulsion, all in the chaos side. So yeah, that's still quite a lot. Although it is a 13-player team.
Yeah, this strikes me as the kind of game where a couple early injuries don't go Chaos's way. You get a little tilted because you're getting outpunched by Elves. Elves continue to Agi 5 shenanigans in the background and score their touchdowns, and you hit a point of just, I'm just going to try and kill me an elf before this game is up. And it doesn't look like it happened so much.
Okay. Do we? I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, I mean that's the best guess I have for what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and I've been in several of those games, so
it's kind of interesting because it looks because Elves blew out Chaos, but I mean, it's clear that that's what happened.
Yeah, well, and this is a very good Elf team. They've got that Agi 5, they've got Blodge. Chaos didn't have tackle. So it's just one of those games you're going to run into as early Chaos against Elves. You can't remove them, and especially High Elves with their extra armor.
Yep. And
so,
next up we have a draw between Hell's Kitchen and Big Ma's Blitzers. Weren't these the teams that were competing? No, it was the Elf team. Or not the Elf team, fuck. The Rats were competing for first place.
The Rats were the undefeated team going into this week, and we will take a look at their game next. But this, an interesting one, 13 armor breaks to 13 armor breaks.
A death on the side of the Norse.
52 blocks succeeded on the side of the Norse to 37 on the Lizards, with 6 removals to 3.
Gotta turn those KO rolls into casualties. Like this.
Norse had 3 casualties sustained, but only the 1 injury and the 1 kill, so they either got surfed or fouled or some. This is the team with the dirty player Skank, so maybe some fouling things happened and actually worked.
That's certainly possible. Oh yeah, that is certainly possible. But yeah, like this game looks to me like the Mighty Blow for the Norse didn't fire. Or, well, they don't really have any Mighty Blow. They have 2 Mighty Blow players, including the Yeti.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know how this ended up as a 0-0. I mean, the Norse did get 5 KOs in a scoreless game, so there would have only been the 1 KO roll, right?
Well, you get a lot of KOs in the first half, then they all come back in the second half. That's how that happens.
As far as MVP, love to see that as Blizzards. It's what you want early. Get yourself some block, get yourself some guard, whatever else you want.
Yeah, there's there's not really much to say. Just the teams beat the snot out of each other and didn't manage to do really much of anything from it, which happens sometimes. Especially when you have a team that's full. Well, I don't want to say that it happens a lot of Norse because they do have 7 armor. It definitely happens with Lizards, though, sometimes. Oh, they could have also just removed all of the skinks and then couldn't score against the Saurus. Anyway.
Also possible.
Last of all, we have an upset. The Chaos Dwarves beat the Excludibles 2-0.
Yep, that is no small feat against a double movement 10 gutter runner. Pretty much could tell you the exact script of this game, and I didn't watch it, but I guarantee this was a Charps waddle their way down the field, punching things as they go, managed to get off the score, probably on the Bull Centaur. Rats go to one turn, and only having dodge, no extra agi, no two heads, it's still a lot of 3+ in tackle to make that one. One turner probably tripped or otherwise failed in some manner, maybe even removed himself. It was my one turner, who was an absolute monster, was well known for failing his 86% one turns by just 1-36ing the GFI to cross the end zone or similar shenanigans. And then you're playing offense, down positionals. You don't yet have the skills to be able to push the Chorps out of your way or make decent impact. You're left with trying to potato doesn't work, or they cram up your sideline screen or what have you, and that's how you lose 2-0 to Chorps, especially early.
It probably doesn't hurt that they got all of their SPP on the Bull Centaurs either.
That seems like it's pretty good for Chorps early. That Bulls seem like the kind of pieces that want at least about 2 levels before they aren't as terrible.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think your assessment of that's pretty good. Do we have anything else we need to do? Maybe I think we should probably take a look at the leaderboard. Yeah. So Excludibles are still on top with Hell's Kitchen, close behind, and Thunderous Puffins and Concrete Sludge both right behind them. The whole top half is within 1 game of one another, so this could still easily be anyone's game going into the almost anyone's game going into the Swiss round.
2 weeks before we start the mini Swiss. And yeah, I would say, I mean, anybody in the top 4 is definitely in, but even 5 and 6, they're not that much farther behind. 4th place being 3 points behind the leader, and then 5th place being 4 points behind the leader, and then 5 points for the Chaos Dwarves, right? So
yeah, that'll be a little bit harder for the Chaos Dwarves, but they have a very good, strong tiebreaker right now. So if they're a little bit lucky and the teams on the top of the leaderboard do a bit poorly, then they could definitely have a chance. I think the only people who are probably not coming out of this on top, like for sure, are the Thompsons and Slab. And that's quite understandable considering the seasons both teams have been having.
Yep. Well, and I think the last thing we should look at is the schedule for next week. Again, this is our 2-week round for Christmas, so you have until the 2nd of January to get this round played. You have some time. This is just, we've got holiday.
Oh, yeah, 2nd of January. So we have the Thompsons versus the Meat Squad, and that could be a really important match for the Meat Squad. Humans are usually pretty good in this matchup with low development, but based on what we've seen, I think I have to give the advantage to the Chaos Dwarves.
Chaos Dwarves picked up an Agi Bull Centaur.
So they did?
They've
that's
got their
so
bull
good.
Carrier. So,
was it the one with dodge?
No, it was not the one. It was the rookie.
So they have one that's Agi 3 and one that has dodge. That's terrific.
Yeah, that's pretty solid development there. Humans have pending Blitzer level, but yeah, I don't know. Like, this kind of matchup is going to be whether or not the human linemen are able to sit there and take the pounding from the Chorfs enough to slow them up and stop them from getting anywhere. With the movement ability that the Chorfs have picked up on their bulls lately, it's going to be a lot harder for the humans to contain that, I feel like. So I agree. I do think this matchup probably favors the Chorfs slightly.
Yeah, and like the thing is, as before, the Chorfs don't have any guard, but well, I think I don't think the humans have that much development either. So
Yeah, both of these teams are still light. Like, other than the Bulls, the Chorfs have one guard blocker, and that's and the humans have a couple of leveled blitzers, essentially.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, next is Excludibles versus Hella Kitchen. This is the battle for first place right here.
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. The Movement 10 Gutter Runners have picked up Sprint for the natural one turn and Wrestle on the other one. So they're starting to eke their development out on their Gutter Runners here. This matchup, honestly, and granted, I was playing against Ornan's Norse, and Ornan, if you don't know who that is the current world champion, having won the 2018 Worlds at Cyanide. But this is always a tough matchup for me as Rats, because Norse are more than happy to just mark all of your line rats all game and take the 1 dies if that's what gets left to them with block against your likely non-block line rats. And if all of your line rats are tied down, it's actually really hard to get any push as Rats. You're basically relying on your Gutter Runners being able to outrun things. And as long as the Norse doesn't get too clamped down and leaves his sweepers back, you're potatoing against minimal block and usually block tackle.
Well, in this
and that
case,
can be rough.
In this case, there's only one tackle player, and also there will be an Ulf sitting out. So the strength advantage is not actually that big in favor of the Norse. But at the same time, I have to agree with you. Like, Norse can pretty easily just bash all of the line rats away for Skaven, and then your juicy center is vulnerable.
Yep, it's like I said, my games with Norse tend to depend on how long the line rats hold. If they get cut out early, you're in trouble.
Next, there's Big Mouth's Blitzers versus Primal Concrete Sludge. I want to say Lizards.
Lizards have once again replaced their Croxagore for the second time in like 3 games.
Oh, well, that's good. Maybe this one will last more than 1 game.
So, yeah, hopefully, I mean, at least that means they're getting good finance rolls to be able to fund replacing that Croxagore. This matchup, this is a hard one to call.
The swords have a lot of block, but there is a Mighty Blow Claw Beastman on Primal Concrete Sludge, so they can remove Saurus.
Yeah, and we know that Chaos isn't afraid to foul per the expulsion from last. So I do feel like in this matchup, if Chaos is able to remove a Saurus or 2 early via Claw Mighty Blow, fouling, what have you, the match turns very quickly. I feel like it's roughly even, maybe even slightly in Chaos's favor before that happens. Or sorry, slightly in Lizard's favor before that happens, because Beasts don't have tackle yet, so in dodge we trust on the Skinks. And the speed advantage definitely goes to the Lizard, because the Skinks are much faster than the Chaos team.
Yeah, like, that, you know, I don't think this will be a draw, but I honestly don't know who will win. I think that about sums up my feelings on that. Last of all, we have the Thunderous Puffins versus Slan. And I think the Puffins are probably going to win this match. But I also think it could be a very, very good opportunity for Slan to get some much needed development. This could easily turn into a shootout, which would be ideal for the Slab team.
Yeah, I expect that the Puffins are going to run up the score in this matchup, and I don't think the Slan have the skills necessary to stop them. So in response, I think they also attempt to run up the score, and this very easily becomes a matchup where you don't really play defense. You're two turning, you're three turning.
Yep.
And the winner's going to be the one that's able to stop a 3-turn or cause a turnover, or who doesn't have their dice fail. And the High Elves have the advantage in that arena, so I do think it's a High Elf victory, but it wouldn't surprise me if this becomes a 3-2, a 4-3 kind of game.
It could easily be that. Yeah. Okay, that's all of them. I think that's everything, right?
That is everything.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I've
Do
already
you
told
know where you are right now? Do we need to call you help?
I'm pretty sure. My spatial awareness is fine. It's just my mouth that isn't. Also
We'll
my
go with that.
nose and look, just like my whole head is like just kind of fuzzy. But okay.
And on that note,
I think we're done. So I hope this somewhat shorter recap was good for all of you, and have good games over the winter break. Bye.
see you next time.